Gotta get the note. Ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la la la. Welcome. Good Shabbos to you all. I'm happy to see you here. I'm Ruth Livingston, if you didn't already know that, and this is Janet Peltier-Getz, and we are honored to be your service leaders this evening. On page 2, we are called unto life, destiny uncertain, yet we offer thanks for what we know, for health and healing, for labor and repose, for renewal of beauty in earth and sky, for that blend of human holy which inspires compassion, and for hope, eternal, promising light, for life, for health, for hope, for beautiful, bountiful blessing, all praise to the source of being. Baruch atah Adonai mekor nefesh kol chai. I light this candle to remind us to think about the hostages who have yet to be freed. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless, preserve, and protect the hostages and missing soldiers, children of Israel, and the Israel Defense Forces. May God rescue them from captivity and speedily restore them in peace. May the Holy One show them mercy, increase their strength, relieve their pain, and bless them with recovery of body and spirit. May God return them to their families swiftly and soon, and together we say Amen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshana b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. On page 17, I love discovering all these other readings in our prayer book. A very old song aroused me into life when it drove away my low spirits with its royal language. A song of a generation silenced from the days of old aroused me into life. Hine matov. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב is good to be together. This is an opportunity for us to share in community and to just, I don't know, help lift our spirits by being together. We welcome Shabbat by rising for the last verse of Lecha Dodi and turning to the entrance of the sanctuary to welcome the Shabbat bride, the Shabbat queen, whichever way we think about Shabbat. So Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat mikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nikabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad yishmi'anu el hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shem u'tiferet v'litehila Echad Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela Echad Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תהילה לך דודי לקראת קלה בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה בני שבת נקבלה התעוררי, התעוררי, כי בא אורך קומי אורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה. שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, and hopes to nurture. May the door of the synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block for young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. With Shalom Aleichem, we imagine that there are two angels accompanying us home following the service.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bolechem l'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Zetchem l'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
We offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat, which unites us in faith and hope. Please join me for this. For Shabbat holiness, which inspires sacred living. For Shabbat memories, glowing even in darkness. For Shabbat peace, born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessing, O God. Come to the Chatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברך ירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה, יתברך. יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל פרחתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמא, ויאמרו Amen.
If you're able, I'll ask you to rise for the Baruch. Oh, there is one who sings the song of his own life, finding everything within himself. There is one who leaves the circle of herself and sings the song of her people. There is one whose voice rings with the song of humanity, hoping for the highest perfection. And there is one who rises even higher, uniting with all creatures, with all worlds, filling the universe with song. Nevarech.
Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Baruch hu et Adonai ha-mevorach. Baruch Adonai ha-mevorach, ha-mevorach le'olam va'ed. Ha-mevorach, ha-mevorach, le'olam va'ed.
You may be seated. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. We come to Ahavat Ulam, beautiful peace.
Ahavat Ulam, Beit Israel, Amcha Torah u'mitzvot, chukim בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגי יומם ולילה, נגי יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל, אוהב עמו ישראל.
If you are able, we stand for our chant of our core belief that there is just one God, and following the Shema, you may be seated for the Ve'ahavta.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושינתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sokat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu עמיתנו שומרנו חיים. ברוך אתה אדוני הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים. ברוך אתה אדוני הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל העולם ועל כל העולם. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. אמן. Amen. Amen.
We are commanded to keep Shabbat holy, to read, study, rest, involve yourself in activities with your family. Try to make Shabbat different from the rest of the week. This is something my B'nai kids are working on right now, how to make Shabbat different. Our covenant of Shabbat is V'shamru.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית העולם. כי ששת ימים בני ובין בני ישראל לא תהיו לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית העולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
God has placed abilities and challenges in our heart without regard to gender. Each of us has the duty, whether man or woman, to realize these gifts that God has given. If you're able, please stand for Tefillah, which is our standing prayer.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah. האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומר חסדים טובים, וקורא הכל, וסוחר השדה אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו ואהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גברות ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, ודורשים בכל יום להללו הסלע. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
You may be seated. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. Please join me. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Ritzeh.
Ritzeh Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Eloheinu, Be'amcha Yisrael. Ritzeh Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Eloheinu, Be'amcha Yisrael. Pour out your Spirit upon us. We need only call, you are near. Your presence builds courage within us. Your still clear voice calming our tears. Ritzeh Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Eloheinu, Be'amcha Yisrael. Ritzeh Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Eloheinu, Be'amcha Yisrael. El karov lechol korav, pnei elav adecha v'choneinu, shefol ruchacha aleinu, shefol ruchacha aleinu. Wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, you are our God, and we are your people. We long to behold you in Zion restored. Baruch atah Adonai, המחזיר שכינתו לציון.
God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth, which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'er lehodot. We will sing Shalom Rav, one of our songs wishing for peace, and following that, we'll take a moment for your own personal prayers for peace, your thoughts, your meditations at this time.
Grant us peace, peace to Israel, grant peace to your people forever. Bless our land with peace, oh please fill our hearts with peace, and let us make each other's lives better. Shalom Rav al Israel Amcha Tasim Leolam Ki Ata Hu Melech Adon Lechol HaShalom. Every season, every hour, bless us with your peace. In every nation, in every heart, we need your blessed peace. V'tov necha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol et ub'chol shah b'shlomecha. Shalom Rav al Israel Amcha Tasim Leolam Ki Ata Umelech Adon Lechol HaShalom. Baruch atah Adonai Hamvarech et Amo Yisrael Bashalom, Bashalom, Bashalom. Iyul ratzon imrefi והגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי וגואלי. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable, be acceptable. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you. Imrefi, imrefi. Adonai Tzuri, Adonai Tzuri, Adonai Tzuri, Begoli.
This week's Torah portion is Bo, and it is about the last three plagues, the locusts, the darkness, and the slaying of the firstborn. I'm going to share a Devar Torah from the writings of Lord Jonathan Sacks of blessed memory, because what he says here is still so appropriate to what we face in today's world. It's called The Stories We Tell. It remains one of the most counterintuitive passages in all of religious literature. Moses is addressing the Israelites just days before their release. They have been exiles for 210 years. After an initial period of affluence and ease, they were oppressed, enslaved, and their male children killed in an act of slow genocide. Now, after signs and wonders and a series of plagues that have brought the greatest empire of the ancient world to its knees, they're about to go free. Yet Moses does not talk about freedom or the land flowing with milk and honey or the journey they'll have to undertake through the wilderness. Instead, 3 times he turns to the distant future when the journey is complete and the people, free at last, are in their own land. And what he talks about is not the land itself or the society they will have to build or even the demands and responsibilities of freedom. Instead, he talks about education, specifically about the duty of parents to their children. He speaks about the questions children may ask when the epic events that are about to happen are, at best, a distant memory. He tells the Israelites to do what Jews have done from then till now. Tell your children the story. Do it in the maximally effective way. Reenact the drama of exile and exodus, slavery and freedom. Get your children to ask questions. Make sure that you tell the story as your own, not as some dry account of history. Say that the way you live and the ceremonies you observe are because of what God did for me, not my ancestors, but me. Make it vivid, make it personal, make it live. He says this not once, but 3 times. And why was this the most important thing he could do in this intense moment of redemption? Because freedom is the work of a nation. Nations need identity. Identity needs memory, and memory is encoded in the stories we tell. Without narrative, there is no memory, and without memory, we have no identity. The most powerful link between the generations is the tale of those who came before us, a tale that becomes our own and that we hand on as a sacred heritage to those who will come after us. We are the story we tell ourselves about ourselves, and identity begins in the story parents tell their children. That narrative provides the answer to the 3 fundamental questions every reflective individual must ask at some stage in their lives. Who am I? Why am I here? And how then shall I live? There are many answers to these questions, but the Jewish ones are, I'm a member of the people whom God rescued from slavery to freedom. I am here to build a society that honors the freedom of others, not just my own. And I must live in conscious knowledge that freedom is the gift of God, honored by keeping his covenant of law and love. Twice in the history of the West, this fact was forgotten or ignored or rebelled against. In the 17th and 18th century, there was a determined effort to create a world without identities. This was the project called the Enlightenment. It was a noble dream, and to it we owe many developments whose value is beyond question and that we strive to preserve. However, one aspect of it failed and was bound to fail, and that was the attempt to live without identity. The argument went like this. Identity throughout the Middle Ages was based on religion, but religion had for centuries led to war between Christians and Muslims. So following the Reformation, and between Protestant and Catholic. Therefore, to abolish the war, one had to move beyond identity. Identities are particular. Therefore, let us worship only the things that are universal: reason and observation, philosophy and science, Let us have systems, not stories. Then we will become one humanity, like the world before Babel. As Schiller put it, and Beethoven set to music in the last movement of the Ninth Symphony, all men will be brothers. It cannot be done, at least as humanity is presently constituted. The reaction when it came was fierce and disastrous. The 19th century saw the return of the repressed. Identity came back with a vengeance, this time based not on religion, but on one of three substitutes for it: the nation state, the Aryan race, and the working class. In the 20th century, the nation state led to 2 world wars. Race led to the Holocaust. The class struggle led to Stalin, the Gulag, and the KGB. 100 million people were killed in the name of these 3 false gods. For the past 50 years, the West has been embarked on a second attempt to abolish identity, this time in the opposite direction. What the secular West now worships is not the universal, but the individual, the self, the me, the I. Morality, that thick code of shared values binding society together for the sake of the common good, it's been dissolved into the right of each individual to do or be anything he or she chooses, so long as they don't directly harm someone else. Identities have become mere masks we wear temporarily and without commitment. For large sections of society, marriage is an anachronism, parenthood delayed or declined, and community a faceless crowd. We still have stories, from Harry Potter to Lord of the Rings to Star Wars, but they are films, fictions, fantasies, a mode not of engagement, but of escapism. Such a world is supremely tolerant until it meets views not to its liking, when it quickly becomes brutishly intolerant and eventually degenerates into the politics of the mob. This is populism, the prelude to tyranny. Today's hyper-individualism will not last. We are social animals. We can't live without identities, families, communities, and collective responsibility, which means we cannot live without the stories that connect us to a past, a future, and a larger group whose history and destiny we share. The biblical insight still stands. To create and sustain a free society, you have to teach your children the story of how we achieved freedom and what its absence tastes like, the unleavened bread of affliction and the bitter herbs of slavery. Lose the story, and eventually you lose your freedom. This is what happens when you forget who you are and why. The greatest gift we can give our children is not money or possessions, but a story, a real story, not a fantasy, one that connects them to us and to a rich heritage of high ideals. We are not particles of dust blown this way or that by the passing winds of fad and fashion. We are heirs to a story that inspired 100 generations of our ancestors and eventually transformed the Western world. What you forget, you lose. The West is forgetting its story. We must never forget ours. With the hindsight of 33 centuries, we can see how right Moses was. A story told across the generations is the gift of an identity, and when you know who you are and why, you can navigate the wilderness of time with courage and confidence, and that is a life-changing idea. So at this time in our service, we have a Misha Berach, a prayer for healing, and I will ask for healing for Shauna Forrester-Smith, for the Scheinwald family, our temple staff and friends who are in need. Are there others whom you would like to name who are in need of healing at this time? Kathy?
מקור הברכה לאמותינו. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu, mikor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
I'll ask you to rise for Eleno, if you are able to.
Excuse me. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'teit gdula l'otzeh breshit, shelo asanu kegohei haratzon, v'lo samanu k'mishbichot adamam, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu k'chol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב עיקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגבי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו וסולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת עינות. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
If you would like, you can read the alternate lines with me. So I'll do the first, you do the second. I'll do them as well, but you could join me on this. In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we remember them.
In the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember them.
In the opening of buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember them.
In the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of summer, we remember them.
In the rustling of the leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember them.
In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them.
When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them.
When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them.
When we have joys we yearn to share, we remember them.
So long as we live,
they too shall live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them. This week for Yortzeit, from the congregation, we remember Sherry Chochinov, mother of Alex Chochinov, Abraham and Sarah Fishman, child Shoah victims, Harold Swedlove, father of Fern Swedlove, Nate Lipson, grandfather of Phyllis Dana, Ruth Livingston, Phil Spivak, and great-grandfather of Karen Dana, Edith Saunders, mother of Elliot Saunders, Joel Sirks, father-in-law of Jackie Sirks, Bess Spivak, mother of Ruth Livingston and Phil Spivak, Philip Travis, father of Jean Travis, Morris Schechter, father of Izzy Schechter. And we have several in Shloshim at this time. Brian Scheinwald, son of Goldie and Mark Scheinwald. Howard Kadekel, Limud Winnipeg board member, and Sol Cates. Are there others for whom you are either remembering or in mourning at this time? Howard Gurvich. Yes. So together we say the Kaddish. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah Be'almad divrach rutei v'yamlich malchutei B'chayachon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv v'yamru. Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei d'kudisha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran v'yalma v'yamru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yamru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yamru. Amen. Please be seated. We have quite a few announcements. Next week's service at 7:30 will be a celebration of Shabbat Shira with special music. The service will be led by cantorial soloists David Vamos and Janet Peltier-Getz. It's going to be an awesome service. I hope you can all attend. Our mitzvah activity of packing lunches for inner city organizations will take place on Sunday, February 9th at noon. If you would like to make donations of either food or money to this project, just contact the office and let us know. At 2 p.m. that same day, on the 9th, there will be an under 50 Tu B'Shvat get-together to learn about the holiday and to sample traditional foods and to make a watercolor tree painting. So if you're under 50 and this is something that might interest you, to meet some new people, this is an excellent opportunity to come to the temple and to do that. And for those over 50, you don't have to worry because you get your turn on February the 16th at 1 o'clock. There are posters in the bulletin for both activities. We've been doing this for a number of years for Tu B'Shvat, and it's fine. I always have a little thing about what new painting can I teach, because, you know, year after year, it's like all my favorite tree paintings are done. Tu B'Shvat itself will be celebrated at Sharet Tzedek with a climate concert that includes performances by our cantorial soloists, David Vamos and Janet Peltier-Getz, on Thursday, February 13th at 7 p.m. And on Friday the 14th, we'll have a service at 6, like tonight, followed, though, by a potluck dinner. And if you'd like to participate, you're asked to bring a dish to share, which features at least one of the 7 species of biblical Israel. And you can check the bulletin for details on that. Okay, we've come to Hamotzi and Kiddush, and I will be calling up Ari ben Avraham v'Malkalea, Brian Richardson, and Patricia Kovnatz, and the children, whoever here is under bar mitzvah age. Careful, we don't want them to spill. Soon.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen.
Amen.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, המוציא לחם מן הארץ. אמן.
I'm taking one for my mom.
Mazel tov, Ari. My pleasure. Sure.
We're at the end here.
Huh?
Are we going right into the end song?
Oh, thank yous. Never mind. Always my thanks to Janet, who lifts up any service I do to being something worth being at. It's marvelous to work with her. I thank Judith, Erwin, Evan, and Steve for their technical help, and Adeline downstairs for working to admit everybody into the service.
And I'd like to thank you, Ruth, and also all of you, because you are my community. So, like you were saying, that's important.
And Mazel Tov to Ari, who has a lot of stories to tell.
אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא, לעת נשא בחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא, ואחריך יקלוט הכל, לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה והוא הווה, והוא יהיה בתפארה, והוא אחד ואין שני, להמשילו, להכבירו. בלי ראשית, בלי תכלית, ולא העוז והמזרח, והוא אלי וחי גואלי, וצור חבלי בעת צרה, והוא ניסי ומנוס לי, ומנת כוסי ביום אקרא, בידו אפקיד רוחי, בעת אישן ויהירה, ויום רוחי גוויעתי, אדוני לי ולא יירא. Shabbat Shalom.